Here is group 1, where we're looking at the body mechanics and technique of the first touch and the pass being played back. So as the ball comes in, first part we need to look at here is positioning of the standing foot, so the plant foot compared to the ball. In this clip here, there's too much of a stretch between the passing foot and the plant foot, which makes it much harder to stay balanced and therefore to play a good accurate pass back. The other thing that we can see in this video is the ball skips up slightly. That's because we're getting our toe underneath the ball. So our ball comes in. Even in this position right here, if we look at the ankle joint, toe is pointing down and the heel is higher than the toe. Good thing is the knee's bent, decent body position. It's just the only thing that we need to try and work on here is the toe being up and the heel being down. And obviously the point that we mentioned at the very beginning, the stance between the 2 feet. Okay, the plant foot needs to be level with the striking foot. Next one here. Similar thing, again there is that. Oops, there's that stretch between the 2 feet going like this, when really they should be fairly close to each other. That way it just means the player is more balanced and knees are bent over the ball. And then the important position of the ankle again is heel down, toe up, and as we're going in here, only slightly, but again the ball skips off the ground and it lands about here because again the toe is underneath. Okay, same thing here. We look at the ankle, and this is a common problem for people. Or for players, that the toe is always down and the ankle's up. So the ankle needs to be locked, and the heel has to be down. That's the biggest thing we want to try and get out of the first touch. Ankle position is heel down, toe up. And then again, it's a bit of a stretch as we're playing the pass. Couple of things here. The plant leg from this side slightly twisted, bending in rather than pointing towards where we're supposed to be passing. And again we're kind of stabbing at the ball as we're going in towards it, which again means the ball's going to come up off the ground rather than it being played on the ground. And it goes back. And again, it's a bit of a stretch because we're stretching towards it. We're stabbing at the ball rather than striking it. Okay, here we have a good example. I believe this is Matt. It's a good example of looking at the right ankle here. We can clearly see the toe is up and that the heel is down as he plays it back, even in this position. The inside of the foot, nice and open, hits it with his instep, and the toe is up, and the ankle's down here, which means the ball's going to come back nicely on the ground. Good body position, knee slightly bent, plant foot fairly close to his striking foot, so it's close to being absolutely dead on, but good technique, good touch on the ball. Here we have that example again of the toe pointing down and the heel pointing up. Okay, we just need to reverse those roles, so we're, let's say, like this. Okay, that's the ankle joint at the bottom there. Lovely drawing. Okay, so that ankle needs to be locked up rather than, as it is right now, pointing down. Again, a little bit of a stretch as we're going towards the ball. The ball's played at this point here. So what we want to do is to have our plant foot about here. Okay, it gives us much more balance, and our body doesn't have to stretch towards the pass. The key point being our body moves towards the ball and we stay nice and balanced and we play that pass back rather than being off balance and stretching and having no idea where the ball's going to go. Okay, this one here isn't too bad. Technique, we're trying to get the toe up and the heel down. As we can see, it's only a slight angle, but it's still the right idea behind it. So that heels down, toes up. You're going to be fed up of hearing that, but the more I repeat it and the more we look at that one point, hopefully it sinks in a little bit more. The only issue is here, it's not very balanced as the ball's being struck. Okay, again, the legs are probably a little bit too far apart and more of a stretch again. But generally, this is not a bad one at all. Okay, just a little bit more balance required. Look one more time, ball comes in. So you can hear on this part here, we're stretching. Rather than moving our foot closer to the ball, at this point we're kind of stretching off balance and playing it. That's the thing we need to correct here. Okay, toe, we can see already toes starting to go underneath the ball. We connect and we're leaning back slightly with as we're striking the ball, our leg gets underneath it, our toe gets underneath it, and we just skips up slightly rather than having a knee over the ball and playing it down into the ground. Similar thing here, just digging underneath it slightly and making sure the ankle is locked the way you're playing. So if we're obviously passing back to the coach, we want to have that inside of the foot angled to where we're obviously passing the ball to. So that's why that ankle has to be locked, and so that when the ball hits it, your foot guides the ball where the ball should be going rather than the ball hitting your foot and then your foot changing shape and position because of the power on the ball. So the ankle needs to be nice and strong and nice and locked. And again, bit of a stretch as we make contact. One foot's here, the other one's here. They need to be a lot closer together. Side by side, but closer together and more balanced. Okay, again, this one's not a bad one. Ball comes in, strike. It's the right idea. It's just a little bit of a stretch again. Rather than moving our body into the ball to strike it, we're just stretching towards it. Again, making it much harder to keep control. But very, very close to getting the ankle position right. If anything, it's flatter rather than the toe being down. And obviously what we'd like to do again is just have that toe to come up to keep the ball played on the ground. But not bad here. And then we're back around to Dimitri. So the key with this technical training is that it's not a fitness drill. They're not going to be working at 100 miles an hour to getting, a million touches on the ball and sweating and all that stuff. We're trying to work a little bit slower to get the technique correct. So as we go on through the sessions, they can start working a lot harder physically as well. But we don't want to just work them really hard physically and their technique be completely off, and then they just get fitter, but their technique doesn't actually change. The key thing in the first few weeks is just to get the technique correct. And once it's correct and once it's a good touch, then we can start building on that. So the intensity right now is a little bit lower, and that's just because we want to make sure that we get that touch and technique right.